I would say you need to detach from like your current circumstances and your current life and everything you are seeing right now, and attach to where you want to be, and think about what you are willing to do or not do, right? Like not go out for dinners, not go out, like whatever it might be. What are you willing to do or not do to create that? Like, I think one of the secret accelerators that I didn't even know about at the time, but now is literally something I teach, is like, be more attached to the version of you 1 year from now than who you are today.
Hey queens, yeah, you know who you are. God, come on, go ahead and put that crown on your head. Now tilt a little to the left, now a little to the right. Perfect. Now let's get to work, cause we know you got big goals and you got big dreams, and not afraid to let them know. Why? Cause you step into your purpose, you speak out on your faith, and you shift up in your journey, cause you a boss. Welcome to the podcast Drop the Expiring Act with your host Velly of QueenBayGoals.com. Reminding you that you are a queen before anything else. It's your life and your goals. Make it royal. All right, y'all. Go ahead and work that crown. Hey, Queen Bays. Welcome to another episode of the Drop This Friday podcast. Today, I'm talking to coach and podcast host Vikki Louise. Vikki, welcome to our podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. So happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. So tell us where you are and tell us all about yourself.
So I am calling in from south of France, which is cool. So, and I'm actually not born here. I'm British. Probably my accent gave me away. And I've actually lived on 4 continents in the past decade. So that's a fun fact. And other than that, I really call myself a reformed hustler. Like, I used to do all the things, work 80-hour weeks, like nonstop. So I'm reformed hustling now. And now I call myself a time hacker, which is really like, we're never taught in school how to use time. We're taught how to use calendars, but not how to like optimize how we use it. And so really that's what I help people do. That's what I did myself. And now I work a 15-hour work week. So that's pretty fun.
I gotta love that. So maybe we need to have a conversation after this so I can get my hours down just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's get into a little bit of your aspiring act first. I was looking at your notes and you were aspiring for 18 months. You dipped your toe in and then you decided you were going to jump in afterwards. So tell us what was happening in that 18 months when you were just dipping your toes into your business.
Yeah. So I actually left corporate, and I knew that I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, probably like lots of us crazy people.
Right.
And so this was in 2016, when like no one really knew what coaching was, especially in the UK. It was like this very like unknown thing. And I think I brought a lot of that story into my business. So that's why I was willing to dip my toe, but I wasn't really being loud and proud and like on social media or speaking to people being like, hey, I'm a coach, I can help you. It was really like, I'm just going to like share this thing behind the scenes. And then I was dipping in and out, and an opportunity came up to co-found a tech startup, which to my brain was like a proper job and a proper business. So, which is so ironic because that like crashed and burned, like it is not successful, but like everything that I'd been taught about business was like, that was proper. Like I could understand that, my family could understand that. I didn't have to explain it. Whereas coaching, I just let myself listen too long and too much to, but what is that? But what do you actually do? And I just didn't focus on building my confidence. So that first 18 months was really like, oh, I'll do a workshop here or a workshop there, or I got 10 free clients. So it was fine if I was doing it for free, but whenever it came to selling it, which like no business is a business without money,
right.
I just wasn't doing it. And the irony was I was working so many hours in this tech startup for like such little payoff. When, you know, to be honest, you know, my coaching business does far, far better.
Right. So tell me what shifted for you, because when did you decide, okay, this isn't working with me just dipping my toe in, I need to go all the way in? What shifted for you?
Yeah, like it was coming to crunch time with our tech startup. We'd moved to Austin, Texas, and we'd gotten into an accelerator. And it was like all systems go. And really, it was like working 7-day weeks till 10 p.m., not having a life. And I was doing it with my husband, and I kept reaching breaking point. And I remember going, and as this was happening, I had less and less time for coaching, which I actually loved. So I remember going for a hike with him and just turning to him and being like, listen, I don't know what more I can give. I feel like I'm sacrificing everything I want from my life to create this tech company that I do believe in what it stands for, but it's like my whole life is not a single part of it is how I want it to be. And I just sometimes feel like I'm going to run away and be a hippie. I remember saying that to him. I was like, I'm just going to run away and be a hippie. Why don't we just live in the nature? And which is like a far cry from running a tech startup. And I still didn't really have the courage to leave. And it was him that actually said to me, this is it. Like, I'm out, I'm done. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. And the moment he said that, I was like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on my coaching. And I really stopped messing around with it and started showing up to it like it was an actual business that was going to actually pay me and support me instead of being this thing that I do on the side just because I love it. And that was when like everything changed. And I think the really important thing for everyone to hear there was like, I went through a public humiliation, failure, fuck up. It was like everything that I'd been avoiding for 18 months, everything that I'd been avoiding by working 7 days a week and all my fears, everything. It was like the worst thing. Like we literally moved countries for this business and we were closing it down. And I think having that experience before I went all into coaching, like laid such a strong foundation for my ability to now do the scary thing, handle the embarrassment, handle the shame, handle the fear, like all of that stuff that we spend so long avoiding. Like actually, if you just experience it, you're going to realize you'll survive it. And then that's going to be a way more powerful springboard into more success.
I love that. And you took us straight into the theme of this season, which is from Royally F to Royally Fairs. And I love it because you were in that Royally F moment. You were like, all the things just hit.
All the things hit.
So tell us about that. What was your Royally F moment at that point? Tell us where you were in that space.
So we were in Austin. We decided to close the business. We were still in this program and they did like an awards ceremony and we went and won, and like everyone knew that we'd quit the business, but we went to support them. And someone handed me a t-shirt and it said, nevertheless, she persisted. And they got these t-shirts for all the women in the social impact squad because ours was a social. And it was like getting that t-shirt as we just decided to quit and close the business, I was like, oh, we've not actually persisted. And I felt so much shame and all of it. But really, I still have that t-shirt because I did, right? Which we'll speak about after. But what happened from then was me and my husband moved back in with my parents. Neither of us had jobs. Like I was doing coaching out of my bedroom. I bought like a block thing behind my bed so that I could do it from there. I was waking up at 5 a.m. to drop him at a catering job that he'd managed to get. Like we had no savings. It was really like from like being in this accelerator program with our startup, moving across the world to like back to my parents' house with my now husband. And it really was like, I mean, my friends are all like living with their partners or having kids or having careers. And we were just like, right back to like probably where I never thought I would be. I left home at 18 and never thought I would ever be back there. So yeah, so it was really sitting that and swallowing that. And even like there were things that we couldn't do. Like I had a friend getting married actually in France and we went back and forth about whether we could come to the wedding or not because of money. And in the end, we did end up coming, which I'm really pleased about. But at the time, I remember being like, how do I tell her that I can't go to her wedding because of money? It was just so embarrassing when so many people, like we got there and like some of my friends were staying in suites, like with their kids, and like everyone's life was so put together and ours was like a hot mess. Like we had nothing.
But so I love that you say that because it's those moments and those experiences that turn around and build us into the person that we are. So I love that. Not that you went through it, but that it's what made you to where you are now. So
yeah. And you know what else?
Experience. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we like so appreciate things in our life now instead of just like doing it. Like we used to live together like in like a shed, even when we first launched the startup before we went to Austin, on top of a building. It was like literally a tin shed. And I love that we started our relationship and our lives together like that, because we have such an appreciation for like the little things, like being able to take our mums out for lunch, or like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's given so much appreciation to things in our lives, and non-attachment. I think like we're not attached to going on really nice holidays to create fun. Like or even going out for dinner. We'll go for a walk. We still don't really go out to eat more than once a week, but we'll go out for a walk instead, because that was just like the only option. And now it's like we actually built that habit. And I think that's really powerful too.
I love it. So I love that story. So tell us about the space that you're in now, because you're no longer in that thug space, right? You're like living fierce and loving it. So tell us about the space that you're in now.
Yeah, so I did something really stupid, like really, no, it paid off. So, but I'm going to tell you, like, I did something really stupid. And when we moved back in with my parents, I found a coach I wanted to work with, and it was $25,000 to work with her. And you had to have made, I think, $25,000 in your business, and I hadn't done that, but I applied anyway. Like whatever, I got in, and it was kind of wild, and I did it. And that was just me going all in on like, I'm here for all the discomfort. If this means I go work in a bar and pay off this debt for the rest of my life, like I can definitely, even though it's a huge amount of money, I can 100% pay this off in a bar if I have to. And from there, it was like I scaled to 6 figures in 6 months. So I became like the most improved player in that mastermind with the fastest growth, and then doubled my business again 6 weeks later. And then decided that I didn't want to work 40, 50 hours a week, and started shrinking my week to 15 hours. So now I run a multiple 6-figure coaching business, working 15 hours a week, living in the south of France. My partner gets to do his dream of becoming a pilot. I'm living my dream of being coaching. Like, it really is. Like, honestly, my scariest thing now is like, I'm so living in my dream that like my next dream is so scary, right? I'm like, I've not even thought about that. What are we going to do there?
Right. I love it. I love it. And I love how it's all turned around. So I want to take you back. So what would you say to somebody who's currently in that space where they're like, my life is effed. I live with my parents. I don't have a job. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. What do you say to somebody who's still in that space and they can't see the other side of it?
Yeah, I would say you need to detach from like your current circumstances and your current life and everything you are seeing right now, and attach to where you want to be, and think about what you are willing to do or not do, right? Like, not go out for dinners, not go out, like whatever it might be. What are you willing to do or not do to create that? Like, I think one of the secret accelerators that I didn't even know about at the time, but now is literally something I teach, is like, be more attached to the version of you 1 year from now than who you are today. Because who you are today doesn't want to go live, doesn't want to pick a product to sell on an e-commerce site, doesn't, is like afraid of failure, afraid of embarrassment, afraid of rejection. All of those are 100% going to happen. Like, if you are looking to avoid all of those, then like you're never going to live. So instead, when you attach to how will this impact me 1 year from now, even if I fail? Right? Like that's what I mean. Like, when I made that investment in the coaching, I didn't do it like, this is 100% got to work out, otherwise, my life is over. I literally said to myself, and if this doesn't work out, it will have been worth it, and I will pay the money back in a bar. And I think when we are in that situation, we want to use that to remember that we don't need anything else. Like, even when I was living at my parents and it was shit, and I was getting up at 5 a.m. and all this stuff, it doesn't matter, because what that shows you is like, you are resilient, you are powerful, you are capable. You still might live at your parents, you still have a roof over your head. Like, all the fancy fluff that we're sold, that we're seeing on social media, that you need in order to feel happy and feel full, it's like, it's just not true. Like I said, it's like, it may be that you start going for walks instead of going out for dinner, like just those simple things. And like, having pause for that in your life and that separation from the needing to spend and do extravagant things to feel something is going to be way more valuable than just like being successful the first time at doing everything. As well as, this is like another thing for everyone to think about, like if you can get to a place where you can like yourself without accomplishing things, like just really be like, I still back myself, I still like myself, I can see what this looks like on paper or to anyone else, but I still like that I'm trying, I still like that I go for things, like whatever it is, like what do you like about you when you don't have the accomplishments? That kind of thing is way more valuable than making that 10K straight away. It really is.
Right. I feel like we can sit here and have this conversation all day. I could just listen to you talk all day because you're giving me tips just as well as the audience. So tell me, where can people find you to get more of this? Because it's just juicy. I'm just taking it all in.
I love the word juicy. So the best place to go to hear me talk about all this stuff is literally the podcast. So it's called Hack Your Time. And it's like 10-15 minute short episodes. Like really each one is going to leave you with like simple, actionable, get it done steps. So that's the first place. Second place I like to hang out is Instagram. You can find me at Vikki Louise ____. We'll leave the links in the show notes, I'm sure. And also my website, vikkilouise.com. And if you go there, you can access a 10-minute video on how to stop wasting time, where I literally tell you the 4 biggest time wasters and how to solve for each of them.
Oh, I love that. So I need to go. That's where I need to go next. Yes. That's where Lovella's going to go next. So can you give us one of the time hacks? Like give us one.
Yeah. I mean, well, time hacking is different to time hacks in that like, it's who you are. And really what I will say is this: time hacking is all about removing time from the conversation, because we live in a world where we say things take time, it's not the right time, give things time, time heals all wounds. And I'm here to tell you all that is no longer the case. Like the world has evolved, technology has evolved. Things that used to take time, like me and you speaking, we would have had to travel to each other by ship, get there at the same time. And then in order to get that message in front of 100 people, we'd have had to have an event space and all. Now we can just like literally do it in 3 seconds. So it's really about dropping the time story and focusing on what it is underneath. And the 3 things that have you moving faster than time are, firstly, and we've kind of touched on them, firstly, how you think about yourself, if you back yourself or if you don't. If you back yourself, you show up faster. The second one is how you are making decisions and then how fast you are implementing them. And then the third one is really how you handle fear and failure. If you are failing often, you are going to accelerate. If you are avoiding the fail, you are avoiding the success. So those are the 3 things for anyone listening. If you focus on those 3 things, you will be amazed at what you can achieve in a very short amount of time.
And I love that you said that, because actually one of the episodes last season was fail fast, learn fast. You have to do that failing fast so that you can keep it moving. So I love that. Oh my gosh. Now I have to go check out this freebie. You guys, all the links are in the show notes. Make sure you go grab this freebie so that you can learn how to think differently about time and time hacking. All the links will definitely be down below. So we always like to wrap up the podcast with a quote, and you guys know the guests are giving the quotes. And yours was, I either win or learn, from Nelson Mandela. So tell us why that's a quote that you live by.
We're speaking about failing and the value of failing, right? It really is like what's going to keep us moving forward. And if we see it as like advantage, then we've got nothing to lose. It's just going to allow us to move forward faster. But I did have this awareness around that quote. Like I did a podcast episode literally on it. And then that week I sat with it and I was like, it's not even I win or I learn. It's I win or I learn and then I win more. And that's what I want everyone to think about, is like, we think we want to win now, but for that version of you a year from now benefits a lot more than you learning. It's like when people are like, oh, I created this success and I don't know how, it was a fluke, and then we have imposter syndrome. Like, no, learn, fail your way to success, and then you are never experiencing imposter syndrome, and you know exactly, like the future returns from failing and learning are way more valuable than the future returns from winning today.
Oh gosh, I love that. So you you probably don't even know, but you were probably like a super fan of the podcast, because that's one thing I like to do is do twist on the quotes, and you just did it right there for me. So I love it. So you guys, make sure you check out the podcast. Make sure you download the freebies. All the links will be down below. I'm glad you guys tuned into this episode today. Make sure you come back in for another episode of the Drop the Inspire Night podcast. Vikki, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, you guys. So I'll talk to you in the next episode.
You have been listening to another episode of Drop the Aspiring Act. If you're looking for more information on this podcast and other episodes, please visit queenbaegoals.com. That's QueenBaeGoals.com. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next podcast.